Oh, the adventures never stop. The adventures, chasing the deals, they never seem to end. On Ice Age TV, what are you doing now? What am I up to now? What do you think I'm doing? What do you think the Iceman is going to do? Got a whole collection of cars, trucks, motorcycles. Now, what is the final adventure? Do I call it the final adventure of the year? I think that we're going to call this the final adventure of the year. But what is the adventure? And boy, oh boy, I've got a project. Because the adventure I'm on requires me to move a lot of things to complete the beginning of the adventure. Stay tuned. Okay. It's a project. I got to get that car out to get these bikes over there. Then I got to get this car out to get a bike out of there. So maybe some are like, oh, I know what's going on now. Yeah. Let's start up the smoke show and see how she sounds. Do I have a battery tender on this? I don't think I do. Better double check. Wow. Wow. Is that some muscle? Yeah, man. Let's get in. And boy, talk about like working in a used car lot in so many ways. Yeah. Listen to this exhaust. That's speed or what? That is a very nice exhaust. It is. Wow. Keefy boy has a brand new toy. His mommy got him a brand new toy. You like that toy, don't you, huh? Who's going for a ride today? Keefy's going to go for another Harley adventure. Oh, wait. Did I just give something away? No way. Oh, the projects. All right, we're getting there. Slowly but surely, the pup wants to leave his toy. That's going to be a problem. Let's get into Mustang. Let's start this up. And the Keefy boy is going to make me run over his toy. But let's hear this bad boy, right? How about that, huh? It's all about that noise. All about the noise, right? What's pretty cool is this thing here has the brake on, but all I gotta do is let out the clutch and it'll automatically turn off. So watch this here, look at that. You don't have to touch that brake. Cold day, which I talk about all the time. Try to drive these high performance cars on these type of cold days isn't to your advantage. So, oh wow, not on there, right? It's so incredible how this car here, I haven't touched the gas pedal on how it actually, the car actually moves itself without touching the gas pedal. It has that newer technology, and which is really cool. So there are the two blues, Vapor Blue. It's incredible how we become the blue family. Like 1 blue, 2 blue, 3 blue. The Bronco blue's gone. There's 4. How could I even want another blue vehicle, right? All right, got the, I need to put my trailer gate down here now. Very, very interesting. Even with me lowering the GT, the Dark Horse still looks lower to the ground than the GT. Isn't that something? All right, it's the adventures of the adventures. And we're going to go in the garage and see how Kiefer has all the balls that he likes to eat. And they're everywhere. We have a gazillion balls. That dog can destroy every tennis ball he gets. The yellow ones seem to be more difficult. So that's kind of interesting what's going on there. So now what are we doing? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Which bike do I take to the show? Yeah, right. Yikes. All right, yikes. What would I do? Does it even start? Ooh. Uh-oh. And so the final frontier begins. The final frontier. What's going on? Wow, look at that beautiful bike. What a beautiful bike. What idiot would sell this bike? You don't have to, you can hold your breath on that. So what's incredible is this bike has 580 miles on it. This bike has seen more trailer time miles than actual ridden miles. Those trailers over there, I brought this bike back from Tennessee in 2022. It's just a park in my garage, never even rode it. Only a trailer back to Tennessee. So Tennessee is 380 miles. Let's just say 400 miles. So it was brought home in a trailer from Tennessee, 400 miles. Then I took it back to Tennessee. Who do I have with me? Who's hanging out? Took it back to Tennessee, 400 miles. That's 800 miles. Brought it back for another 400 miles. There's 1,200 miles. Here's the kid. Hey, baby. Hello?
In the Bronco, or is it too early?
What, baby?
Can I roll the windows down in the Bronco, or is it too early?
You're fine.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. So, anyway, so if you think about it, it's 1,200 miles of trailer time on that bike. Now I'm talking another 50 miles. Wow. So the bike's had more trailer time than actual riding time. What is that about? That's what's just befuddling to me. Is my first Indian Challenger I rode that a lot. This one here, it comes down to, becomes a specialty bike, and then you don't want to ride it. It's a psychological thing. That's why I'm getting rid of the bike, because it's, be so lucky to get one of 250, and I'm just like, yeah, right, 250. And I'm the guy that got suckered into paying good money for this damn thing, which now, at this point, had a lot of people on my marketplace offer to buy this bike. And I should have taken one guy's deal. He was down to 31 and change. I had another guy willing to pay me 36. Got another guy that's claiming he's going to pay me 36. Got another guy claiming he's going to pay me 33. But they never come to the table. So it's like, yeah, whatever. So today, as we go to the Skyline Harley, yet another Harley-Davidson dealership, I'm going to go down a record of buying a Harley-Davidson from every dealership in this area. I'm not lying. I will have bought a Harley-Davidson motorcycle from every dealer with the exception of what used to be Fort Washington Harley Indian. I always say Indian. What's wrong with me? Yeah. Just so much going on here. Got my Harley outfit. Got my motorcycle riding gear. And yeah, for those watching my channel, I'm sure like, what are you doing, man? Why the hell would you give up an Indian Challenger for a frickin' Road Glide 3? A trike? Why would you do that? Well, I don't know. I have to go check the bike out and see if I like it still. But people don't understand about me is I have friends that can ride my motorcycles. And one of my friends is a little intimidated by these bigger bikes. And I've been thinking to myself, you know what? This would be a really cool bike for him to ride if you want to ride with us. And that's just who I am. I like to share things. And if you're an experienced rider and you're a friend of mine, then yeah, okay, ride the bike, whatever. You're the person that would be more susceptible of injuries over the bike. So you have to have the utmost confidence that you're going to ride the motorcycle and you feel good about it, because at the end of the day, insurance will fix the bike, but insurance isn't going to fix you. So anyways, yeah, I mean, mixed feelings on this, but the Indian Challenger, like I just said, it's a bike that I've had now for a year and a half. June of 2022, bought it, and I just don't ride the bike. And I just want something different. And there's not a lot of options. And I could wait for the Pursuit to get paid off and close that deal and then open the deal back up. But at the same time, I don't know. Part of me is like, but then I still have two notes. So if you're listening to my channel, if I do it right, I'm going to be down a bike as I added a bike. And that's the whole ball game. I got a lot of motorcycles, and at some point, some of them have to go away. And for me, if I get rid of this Indian and then they pay off my other Indian, then I'm really down one bike, but I'm not, because I bought a Honda Goldwing, which kind of add the bike back. So it gets complicated. And in all sincereness, the Honda Goldwing is now my favorite tour bike that I'll look forward to riding for a more all-season motorcycle. And I've got a CVO Road Glide, which there's no way I'm getting out of that motorcycle anytime soon. So I'm kind of stuck with that. This year I can get out of this, and if I want, I can trade it for something different and something that just gives me a little bit more of a change up of riding. It's all about the riding experience for me. That's all it's about, is I want to have a different motorcycle, different experience, different ride. And yeah, then once I kind of get that out of me, then I'll be like, yep, I had my day. Something else comes along and it's gone. It moves on. And once again, am I a guy that's going to keep this Indian Challenger for the rest of my life? I'm not. I had a hell of a time starting that thing. That thing is just sat so much. And also, in fairness, I was getting ready to think, you know what? This ain't going to happen today, because the bike wouldn't start. It died, then it wouldn't start. And it has a check engine light on it. And I'm sure those guys will be like, hey, what's this all about? Well, it's because I put a new slip-on exhaust on the bike, and you're supposed to update the program on it. And I've got the card in the saddlebag there where the actual Indian dealer will have to remap the bike for the emissions reasons, for the calibration for the different style slip-on muffler. Yeah, it's that radical. Slip-on muffler in these bikes today, you have to do a remap on the ECM. And even though for me, I'm like, yeah, right. Well, yeah, it's true. So just like that new Breakout, if I want to put a new exhaust on that, I got to buy a whole other tuner to tune the bike. Just like my CVO Road Glide, I've never taken that in. I've never used a new tuner on that thing to actually recalibrate it with that new exhaust. I probably should, but the bike has run fine. So anyways, back to the ongoing think. Yeah, I just have been thinking to myself, and here's the thing. If you're watching my channel, the last frontier, I'd have to honestly say that if this deal goes down, that's it. It's over. And it's probably over for quite a while. Somebody like, oh yeah, sure. No, it's over. So if I get this deal pulled off, this is going to be an incredible another back-to-back year for me buying things. But then, you know, I've bought so much stuff that I'm indebted to. It'd be very challenging without spending lots of money to get out of these things I've bought. So it's kind of, the lights kind of turn off. Not totally, but in some ways they do. And I wouldn't say that you won't see me buy another car. That's not the story, but it wouldn't be at the rapid pace that I just did this past month. If I pull this off, it's 5 vehicles. 5 vehicles in 1 month. And why? Right, I'm sure people are like, why? But why? It was because I've been wanting, if you're watching my channel, I tried to buy an RG3. It never did play out. If you watch my channel, I tried to buy a Breakout. It finally played out. I tried to buy a Raptor 37, unbeknownst to you, many times over the last few years, but they never played out. And it finally played out. So those 3 items I just talked about, those are items that I've always kind of wanted to have, but for the most part, I just can't get the deals to go down. And the thing is today, who knows? I mean, every time they look at my credit report and they evaluate things, I bet this doesn't have very strong equity to put towards this RG3. So the good news is, this RG3, I'm going to have a lot of money going towards that bike. So in the end, if I'm like, I don't really want it, and I made a big mistake, yeah, I'd take a loss, but I could get rid of it. But I don't really see that. That RG3 is a unique motorcycle. I've ridden it, and it's cool. It's neat. And for me, I need to get a little bit more open road experience on it, because the last time I rode one was at Patriot Harley in Fairfax, Virginia, and it was the stupidest, ridiculous ride I've ever done on a motorcycle in my life. We went from light to light, up the block, around the block, 30, 40 miles an hour, back around the block, up the street, down the street, back to dealership. It was the most lame ride I've ever made in a motorcycle in my life. Now out here, this is Winchester, Virginia, Skyline Harley, and they've got plenty of open riding time. So I can definitely take this bike up the road and ride it and feel like, okay, is this really cool? I like it. Or it's like, you know what? It's not really likable. and I don't think I'm going to ride it. Now, believe it or not, my wife has asked if she could drive this bike. But for me, I'm like, honey, you've never really ridden a motorcycle, so I would not be pushing that. If she ever really pushed it, yeah, she could go through all the training courses and all that other stuff. But I don't know. I mean, I would never say no to her, but I would be concerned of her well-being because she's never been a motorcyclist. And I'm not saying she can't ride one. I'm just saying that it's intriguing to me that my wife here a few months ago, when I was on the page of getting one of these trikes, she asked me if she could drive it. So I was like, wow. So you don't know. I mean, this may open the door to my wife riding a trike. Wouldn't that be something? I mean, if that happened, and then we had the daughter and myself and her going on motorcycle rides, I mean, come on. Would that be fun or what? That would be a nice family adventure. Maybe open the door where my wife would be willing to get on the back of one of my motorcycles. So who knows? So for me, Indian Challenger, anybody here, it's a badass bike. It's a fabulous bike. It's an awesome bike. It isn't about me getting rid of the Challenger because I think Indian's not a great product. There's nothing to do with that. I mean, I'd be like looking at me saying I got rid of my GT500s because they're not a great product. Or I just sold my Hellcat Charger because it's not a great product. It isn't about that. It's just about the Iceman's addictions to having a different and new ride and another adventure of chasing deals to a degree, but not so much. This isn't about totally the deal. It's more about I want that new RG3. And years ago, I saw the Freewheeler. I was never really interested in that, but with this new fixed fairing on the Freewheeler that's now an RG3, I like it. Now, I could also just say, all right, why don't I just buy a trike? Maybe this turns into I just buy the trike instead of buying the Tri-Glide, instead of buying the RG3, aka the Freewheeler. Lots of information, always talking, yippee yap and doing, so let's take a time out. Now think about this drive to the Harley dealer compared to yesterday's drive to Harley dealer. Now, yeah, at the end of the drive to get there, really nice country setting, but driving there was all the heavy traffic, and then getting back home was incredibly heavy traffic. So much more enjoyable country ride to the dealership and back, because you're not on the main arteries of 95, 695, because this is west. This is out here near Winchester, Virginia, near Route 81. So just a really nice scenic drive. But at the same time, this is the type of dealership where I feel it's a lot more challenging for them to be a big volume dealership because they're so rural, versus that Darlington location that's not too far off of Route 95, and it has so much more of the Baltimore, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, that it just has a greater reach of, I think, a bigger, wealthier customer base. But even though this area out here is very wealthy, and even though Timbrook Honda is out here as well, and they're a very strong dealership on moving a lot of product, but there's not any other Honda Power Sport dealerships in this immediate area, so that's kind of a big thing as well. They kind of got a niche because of that. So here we come up to make a left to get into Berryville to take us over to Winchester, over to the Skyline Harley Davidson. One thing is for sure, these trucks really do get toasty warm. And what's the guard dog boy doing besides hanging out in the back there, right? One thing you learn about driving the roads, these are those little towns where a cop will be sitting right over the hill and you're going to get a speeding ticket because it's a 25-mile-an-hour zone. And you go blasting through here at 35 miles an hour, I guarantee you that cop's going to pull you over. He's not going to bug you at 30. At 35, yeah, he'll be like, nope. And then you got to points against your license. Who's know these stories? Yeah, ask me how I know. As you come into the old Berryville town, here comes the railroad. And you can only imagine so many years ago that the railroad would pull up here and unload their stuff or load their stuff on. All the history. railroad towns, right? Now we're going to come into town. They honor a lot of the military veterans, which is really cool. Isn't that nice? This town recognizes others that sacrificed themselves and stood for our country to make it a better country. But yet, some think those weren't the greatest of people, which just is like, wow. You don't get it till you live somewhere else. This is definitely great riding motorcycle country, being it's so much of the country, rural, and you get out from the city craziness. And look at all the shops here and all that good stuff. Berryville Old Bookshop. Jane's Lunch. Bank of Clark. Yep, this is the old town. I mean, what does this remind you? The 50s? When was this all built? Back in the 50s, 30s, 40s? Kind of reminds me of my mother's town, Savannah, Tennessee, where my mother grew up. And that's just a small, good old southern town. Got a Japanese cuisine here. Wow, look at that. And what did that used to be? Empty. Here you is running parallel to the railroad tracks. See here, you can see the railroad tracks there on the ways, and the Raptor 37. It just rocks down the road. You gotta be careful on that. How'd you like to have a house right there, right next to railroad tracks? You don't think that house doesn't vibrate as the train goes by? Yeah. So you've lived in a house, even stayed in a house where the railroad goes by, and it reminds me, we went and visited my dad's hometown like 10 years ago. It's hard to believe it was at least 10 years ago, maybe 12. I think it was 2011 or 12. I don't know. It could have been 10 years ago, but we did a road trip to Mendota, Illinois, and went and saw my father's grave site and his mother, and it was a nice trip, but I had to stay in a separate house from everybody else because they didn't have enough room. And it was this house right next to the railroad tracks. I mean, every morning, man, the train would go by, and you thought the house was going to come tumbling down. What's that song? I mean, oh my gosh, it was crazy. I'm like, how the hell do you live in this type of house? And this was my dad's cousin. So they've lived there for years and years and years. But I'm just like, wow. That's a nice little town right there. Make a left there, Millwood. Little nice little quaint little town. I've ridden my motorcycle out here many a days, many times. Because it's just such the open, rural riding. And you're not fighting all the crazies. And that's one thing about a motorcycle. If you can't get outside the city, they're not really any fun. If I lived in an area where I couldn't escape to get into the real rural areas, I don't think I'd own a motorcycle. I think, nah, because it's just light to light to light to light. It's no fun. And there's just so much country availability. And there's the road tracks being right there. There's kind of a newer house. So, and how busy is this railroad? I have no idea, but I can guarantee a railroad goes by here at least once or twice a day. whole farming community, just incredible. Just a whole different lifestyle. For those that grew up on a farm, you know. I mean, it's 24/7, 7 days a week. It's never ending. Now, it's 43 degrees out, so chilly. I brought my heavier riding gear to take the bike for a ride. Got to ride the RG. I think I'd be making a huge mistake if I don't ride that motorcycle, because I'm going to either be like, wow. I'm going to be either like, wow, really cool, or I'm going to be like, you know, yikes, not so much. Just in these rural areas, man, and this is where it happens. You just blast on. Look at that old Chevy truck. It's like a 70, 71 truck, C10. Who'd ever imagine back then what the truck market would evolve to be, which is a huge market. Yeah, good little drive. I mean, just like this dealership's right up the road. That's for sure. And the Eisenhower Harley-Davidson competes with this dealership. Believe it or not, they're in the same region. And that's something, that both those dealerships are in the same region as far as away they are. Here we are. Now we're into, what town is this? I'm not even sure. Kind of surprising, you know, it's a Friday. It's really the Christmas Eve weekend. And I'm just kind of amazed that there's not like more people on the road. What's going on? Even yesterday, the main 95 wasn't really a problem. It was the Beltway and 70 that was really just incredibly heavy traffic. So definitely getting closer here. Probably another 10 minutes away, be my guess. Here's the outdoor Jimming Jagger, whatever, all the stuff. The stuff. You know, what type of stuff, right? And we got a Santa, the reindeer, Frosty the Snowman. Okay, here we come up to the 340 Route 50 intersection. We're going to go 50 west now out there to the Harley dealership. So it's a nice ride, and that's the thing that I talked to the owners out here about, how I'm blown away how on a Sunday you're closed. Because it's such the nice riding for people that want to have an adventure to go to the Harley dealer to go get all their clothing, whatever, and just go look at the bikes. But that has disappeared. So many Harley dealers now. Look at that, $2.92 for gas. That has so been taken away because of all the, for the most part, now closing down on Sundays and Mondays, like the multi-brand does. All right. I think I got it here. Not get myself in trouble. So you're out here. Not by much. Yeah, it's the Raptor. Raptor? It's a Raptor, not a Raptor. Listen to it. This thing just rocks. It's such a fun truck. It's a lot of fun. So I can take the RG up the road here and you get some open riding. That's what I want to do. I want to get more of a little higher speed open riding and see how that bike feels. That trike feels. Oh my gosh, even for me, what a freaking drive. I mean, I started thinking, Jesus Christ, this thing's forever now. When I used to come here so many years ago, there was no light here. Everything has changed, man. And the blinker's about to drive you nuts. Oh, it's never simple. How many people are at this dealership today, right? How many? They got, ooh, I think they got that new Lava Rock I call it the lava rock color red. Tri-Glide. Uh-oh. Trying to find a Tri-Glide? Yikes. I don't know. Options. But you know what? It's going to be the biggest thing about how aggressive they are in this deal. If they're not real aggressive, I probably am going to say, well, we gave it a shot as we roll in, and then these guys have the multi-brand right across the street. Valley Cycle. All right, here we come into the good old, what used to be, what was the name of this place? I can't even remember. It was an old name. I know it, but I can't remember. Groves. It was called Groves Harley. Don't you hate the blinkers? I don't disagree. So where do I park this thing? I don't know who the hell knows. I'm just gonna pull it down here to around the bend here and hope for the best. They'll probably get mad at me, but whatever. So there's that new Lava Rocks. I don't know. That's kind of that's a really like a love-hate color, if you know what I mean. And there's a new gray. Oh, there it is. Oh, so you know what we do? I need to pull down more. Oh, this is dangerous. I think this is the new Shark Blue color. And look at that. So they got it all out there for me. All that stuff as I hog all the parking spots to this place that's packed. And let's check it out. Here we go. The adventure begins.